9 o'clock. Can you hear me?
Morning.
Excellent. Thanks for the thumbs up. All right. Looks like we've got, okay, so we've got Heidi, Justin. We've got a call-in number that ends in 5555. Not certain if that's someone who's calling in, or could you?
Yeah, Danielle 555 is Tom Weber.
Okay, thanks. We've got Sam and Josh, I believe, in the trailer there with Markin and Johnson. Tyler's called in as well. Steve, Jeff, Commissioner Ward, David Kramer, Maureen Holt. And then it looks like, I think, I'm so sorry, I forget your name, with the sheriff's office.
It's Kelsey. I'm trying to figure out how to change my name on here. I can't figure it out.
Okay, thanks, Kelsey. All right, and we've got the sheriff. Ruth, thank you all for coming. I'm sorry for the short notice. It was my fault, actually. I forgot to alert Heidi to get this on the schedule. So we'll go through that when we wrap up here as far as scheduling the next one. So I'm going to share my screen here. We've got a short agenda. Let me get it. Looks like Heidi, I'm not able to share. Will you be able to give me permission?
Yes, hold on just a second.
Okay, thank you. Ultimately, just wanted to give you guys an update from our perspective on the project. We are having regular meetings with Markin and Johnson, answering questions that they have as they come up, and then going through all the submittals and shop drawings, observing construction. From our perspective, construction is progressing really well. I'm impressed with the progress that's been made. It's my understanding that all the soils correction is complete, and the jail, or the existing jail, is being remodeled. So what you don't see is all the remodeling work of taking out the existing jail cells and getting the new dispatch area set up within the existing facility. Footings and foundations are in the works in progress. And then, of course, tying into the existing tunnel is ongoing. So that's, in essence, what's going on from our perspective. What I'm going to do is hand it off to Markin and Johnson, and they're going to give you an update on the schedule and where things are from their perspective.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen here. You guys see that all right?
It's coming up.
All right. Can you see that then, Danielle?
Not yet.
Yep.
No. Yep.
Okay, so we got the foundation kind of map up here. Everything that's colored, we have placed the footings in the foundation walls. The blue area that you see at the down here is we poured that all this week, and we currently have that under wraps right now, heating. We'll be looking at stripping that either tomorrow or on Monday. But as you can see, we're starting to get towards the end of the foundations portion of this project. And then the masons have started to mobilize on site, and they are starting to lay up a couple courses of CMU along the west wall line and the north wall line there to get up to grade up to 100. So that way we can continue with the waterproofing and then backfilling around the exterior portions there. Sam, did you want to flip through your pictures a little bit then?
Yeah.
So here's some of the interior demo work that we've been working on. That was the old cell block 5, I believe it was. 6. And then that's some of the demo that's in the middle there, getting the interior walls tore down. Rebuilding back up, that will be that vestibule area for the dispatch. And then you see that the wall, the corridor wall, has been placed back in there. Here's an overall site view. You can see what we've had poured, where we got blanketing, where we were progressing along there. I don't know if you got a date on that one, Sam, at all. That was probably couple weeks ago that we had that one. We now have the walls placed in that top portion up there.
Can you sort of say like what's what? Like when you, I don't know if that's on it, if you can stop the thing, but like where's the garage sally port? Where's the kitchen? Where's the housing units?
So right where the marker cursor's at right now, that is where the sally port is at, in that area there. Moving over to there will be the kitchen area. Coming to the south side of the site up there, that location there is the mechanical room. The jail cells in that main area is going to be kind of right through that area. Then Sam moved that down over here is going to be a lot of the offices, and I believe the nurse station's down in that area as well. And then right through here that's where we're going to tie back into the tunnel. That's the link. Yeah, get to that. There's some of the deeper plumbing that we're putting in now to help save time later on in the project. Some of these were fairly deep, so we're getting that installed. Here's the tunnel cut apart, and then we'll be tying back onto that here hopefully the next week or so. That is the elevator footing that is being placed there. That one you can see all the ground thaws we got on there to keep the soils up to temperature, and a lot of blankets.
Which is pretty important, right? So all along, as I was talking with Danielle this morning, the importance of really the position where Markin and Johnson's at right now was that we had to wait, unfortunately, 3 months from the Department of Labor of Industry to get our permits to even start to build. And then once we actually got those permits, we were already at the point of a hard freeze. The typical frost, if I recall correctly, Josh, was 3.5 feet at that time. So to try to do the soil corrections that we were required from the state through that Brownsfield study, to rip up that soil and change it was very difficult. So on top of it, to be able to pull the stuff out, anything that could be reused or anything that was going to be used as a spot for a foundation had to remain at a consistency that it wouldn't allow it to freeze. So all that threw into the mess of a very confined, small construction spot to be able to move equipment around, change the soils, and try to build the foundations, which for a while I thought was going to be an improbability. Somehow they figured this little maze out, and they kept this thing going all the way along it. And that's why I told Danielle this morning, I am really surprised and impressed on how they kept this project going through all this.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of coordinating that has to happen from everybody involved on it that makes the whole thing keep moving.
Good morning. Can anybody hear me? This is Commissioner Ward with
Yes.
what Officer.
Can't hear.
Somehow you dropped off.
You're cutting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not coming through.
If it's all possible, Commissioner Award, you could send something to the chat and we could reiterate what you need about the chat.
When I'm guessing, I know the question always at this point is, okay, so we're making progress, but looking forward to the future, I think we'll look to maybe in the next committee meeting have a big picture schedule to look at what are we thinking long term. So I think we've got a really good short-term construction schedule. Markin and Johnson did provide a overall project schedule for bidding purposes. So I think it would be good to see that updated at the next committee meeting so we can see where we're looking for next year.
We'll fine tune it.
Yeah, we'll provide that next time for sure. We can do that, especially now, like you said, with the soil corrections, getting through that hurdle. I think that was the kind of the how much were we going to run into and schedule wise delay. I wouldn't say delay, but just slow us down in progress. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what Commissioner Ward may have been looking. Let me see if she's got anything in the chat. I don't see anything yet. All right. Well, appreciate the update, Josh and Sam and Tyler. So next meeting, what I talked with Steve about is just making, because this is a regular meeting, the intent is to have monthly updates for everyone to see. So I think if it's okay with you guys, we're going to propose doing a reoccurring meeting every fourth Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. So I'll work with Heidi to get that published and on everyone's calendar so we don't forget for the duration of the project. But moving forward, as the construction develops, what we'll want to do is get tours scheduled. So with the committee and then also with the board, we'll look at targeted tours so you guys can not only see it through the photographs, but see it firsthand. So I don't know, Tyler, Sam, or Josh, I'm guessing in the, I would assume as it gets warmer, but you know, I think you guys would be okay with tours as needed or as requested.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially following, I would say probably the next, but for sure the 2 meetings from now, with how many masonry walls we'll have up by then, I think that you'll see a lot more going on.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I know that we've done that. I know we've done the fourth Thursday of the month, but any chance we can change that?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Is there a proposal? What time works best for you?
Well, the fourth Thursday is always my district sheriff's meeting, so I've been skipping those, and I would like to go.
Okay.
I'd like to go once in a while.
Yeah, I hear you. So let's see. So it sounds like, what about the third Thursday? Is that reasonable?
That's when I have the drug task force meeting in Rochester.
What would work best for you?
Well, not those 2 days and not the first Wednesday because that's CJCC. But other than that, I can work around things. And I mean, if it has to be this, that's fine too. I see the sheriffs some.
Yeah, but it'd be nice for you to get to those meetings. What about, I know Tuesdays are tough, right? We want to avoid Tuesdays.
Tuesdays are okay for me, but again, I can make it work if that's really what the consensus of the group is.
Mm-hmm.
The only Tuesdays that would be potentially difficult for people if they need to attend county board.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the second Tuesday of the month because it's a morning meeting. Otherwise, it's evening on the fourth, or the second meeting for the board.
What about the fourth? Would the fourth Tuesday at 9 a.m. work? Because I know the subs meeting is at 10, right? Every Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
So it works for me.
It works for me.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
I think.
Okay. Yeah.
It would work for me too.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be nice because the regular, so Market and Johnson has meetings with their subs every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And then every other week we've got meetings with the design team to go over questions. But yeah, that'll work.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we'll get those out. Any other questions? Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for everyone's time today. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And then Danielle, if we can just with Sam and his
You want to hang on here?
Yep. So Heidi, we just we need you not to cancel us out or anything yet. We're just going to meet with Market and Johnson. And
All right, so we're talking thermostat locations, right?
yep. So that mechanical 4.1a is where Travis was reviewing.
And would it make sense for you to share your screen, or do you want? I mean, I'm gonna pull up.
Sam,
Yeah,
can you pull it? You'll pull up the 4.1.
I can. Yeah.
Sam, I was gonna say too, with those pictures and stuff, I think that's perfect for that meeting we just had. That gives them a quick little overview of what you need to see. So, good job with that.
Yeah. I thought that was easier to talk about it with that. Steve, do you want Travis in here? You were saying?
Yeah, he's the one that had really the biggest question on the locations and if there's
Yeah, I'll go grab him.
Okay.
Yeah, the zones and stuff, we don't have any questions on, like where and all that kind of stuff with in-floor heating. It was really the location, like the thermostats, and some of it was, are they even approved? So he must have got something from someone that indicated that these were not approved yet. So,
right.
So then he was going through locations of like where they're going to be putting the CMU walls or the poured concrete, and if this is going to be in a wall, like where's the location? Because they didn't want to have to try to core drill and do things later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's one of those general notes where the engineers put the thermostats on the plans, and it's really a symbol. But what they want to do is make certain that the contractor is coordinated and that it's approved by the county as well.
All right, I got Josh and Travis here. So what were we looking to discuss as far as?
We just needed to push through and get it approved so that way we can order them.
Okay.
Approved, and then Travis was talking the other day too about locations and stuff too, right? Elevations where the thermostats would be, Travis, and
The thermostats?
No, that would have been Jared.
I think the thermostats is a different issue than what we're looking here. So what I sent over to Sam to have Sam kind of push through were the boxes for the mixing valves, I believe. Right, Trav?
The manifold
boxes. With the CMU walls going up, we need to have those. And I think there was a change because they must have added some in-floor heat in a different location, which I think is holding that submittal up. And we're wondering if we could get the boxes approved so we can get those ordered, so that way they can put them in as the CMU walls are going up.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send that over to you, Danielle. I just got that from Josh.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be seeing, there's two separate ones that you'll be seeing, Daniel, come through on those boxes.
Okay.
And I believe the boxes were already approved inside of that submittal, but then that submittal got hung up again because it went back for that change with the added in-floor heat. So WHB just wants to get the okay so they can order them and get them coming.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Tyler, did you want to talk to Danielle about that precast, the problems, or get with Chris first? I talked to Steve a little bit about it this morning.
No, and we can give her a heads up on with what it was. So I guess yesterday we had a meeting with WHB and Moline about the openings for, their rooftop units, exhaust fans, kind of all that stuff. So Moline wanted to kind of relocate a few here and there. They got some issues with, the way the plank lays out, and you can't have openings back to back, et cetera, that kind of stuff. Well, some of them we can't oversize. Some of them they have it. I don't know if you got one. There's a couple that have like two openings right next to each other. Well, they want to do one large opening. Well, like we brought up that, every penetration's got to have, here's a perfect example that they want to make. The red is what we're showing for duct openings for return and supply, but they want to do that big black square as one large opening. like we told them,
Mhm.
though, through DOC, we have to have detention bars through all these openings through the roofs, and everything. That, we were going to call Chris and ask him what options do we have, or what can we do if there's a large opening like that? Can we then infill with some steel and bars, or if we have to concrete and fill it, or what are some options if Moline can't make those two small openings work and they have to go with a larger opening? So that's kind of a case for there. I think some of the other ones, I think they do some more background on and research on their design side to see if they can do something with it, and then obviously that'll come back to Troy to review. But
Right. And I think, and maybe it's worth having Troy in the conversation from the get-go, because he might have some ideas too on how to fill in, if like on that one where we've got that corner, is it, do we have to add some steel and decking or something? And
because I know for this one right here, or this 1'3", I know they had talked about that would have to be increased to 1'8" in order for their plank to work. But by doing that, they can't increase the ductwork. So if you were to do a sleeve through there, you would have 2.5 inches gap on each side. So we'd have to fill that in with flowable fill, or I guess what the solution is.
Well, or is it simply in that case just an additional steel angle that closes it off or something,
Yeah,
that's kind of what we said too, but we weren't sure what Chris would accept, and so we So I guess, Sam, did you probably haven't had a chance to hit Chris up yet, had you?
No, I just got this from John, so I was gonna put together a few things, and then me and Steve are gonna call him.
Okay. We're gonna call him, and that was one of the things that we discussed too, was like putting in steel. But so, my biggest concern was prior to calling Chris, when he was down here, we were talking about gridding and making sure that that there was all the security was on that secured envelope in place. Nothing was greater than that 5 inches on center and stuff. Is that even though we're having like this small gap around it, how is it going to be secured? So no matter what's even inside of the ductwork, if the ductwork's not solid around something that any kind of gridding and stuff can just get yanked out, what's going to hold all that stuff into place? So I think that the whole thing would have to be looked upon as that whatever's this gap around where the vent is going to come in and out, how is that secured such as if it was a continuation of the planking? So I think I know that's how he's going to ask it. And so however we bolt it to it, put it on there, put anything on top of it, whether, some concrete decking or something, and pour it in later, I think all that's fine, and I think it'll be approved. But I just want to make sure we're all on that same page. So I think ripping open the bigger hole isn't that big a deal. It's just what are we doing to make sure that it's as if the planking stayed there.
Yeah, and I think it's not unlike the Skylight openings where we've got the detention enclosures detailed. So those will want to, the detention enclosure is more like a gate, right? So then how that's secured is with steel angles, and the steel angles don't necessarily need to be continuous, but you're right, Steve, that those angles itself have to be secured to the plank. And so it's the same concept, just it won't be operable. It'll be a fixed duct bar.
Here is another major issue they were having with in this area. It's kind of what room is that, Steve? That
the programs, the
corridor
area for programs.
The way this was laid out, the HVAC couldn't move their ductwork because there was a wall running through there, and these units come as a prefab all together, I guess. So in order to move one, you'd move the other, and then it would conflict with the wall below it. But the Skylight, with it not being the way it's showing here, and then this ductwork, they aren't able to provide those two openings because they would need, I can't remember what that support is that they were talking about, Tyler, but either way, you need a solid plank on each side of this opening to carry that weight.
Mhm.
It sounded to me like that skylight would have to slide to be in line with that opening, if that was at all possible, or
Yeah, they had issues when you stagger like an opening. So if a plank, like the red X'd one,
yeah,
if that's going to be the opening, and then if there's an opening on the plank next to an opening, that's when they have become issues. But it's
Yeah.
better if they run in the same plank line, they can do it like you said, because then they have a two solid plank neck to support it. So
Mhm.
so that skylight I think was in question. Is there any possibilities, or what are our options with that location?
So to me, Danielle, when I looked at it this morning, realistically, we were just moving it from the center of that day area, that small little day area around the classrooms. That's the skylight that's actually right by the computer room. So to the
Right,
north.
that's what I was like, I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Scroll
tell.
out a little bit. Which one is? Yeah.
Right there's
So
the
that's the
gym.
program.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so there's no magic to that one. It was
That was just an added in skylight. So just like in the staff break room and just like in the booking room.
Yep. Providing natural light for staff and inmates. Yep.
Yep. So I think if that got shifted to the north, it might not be the prime spot, but I don't think you're changing anything really.
Right. I'm with you.
And then one other area of concern was all these roof drains. That's what all these are. When they're configured like that, yeah, the precast wants to see them flip, so they're running at the same perpendicular, I guess, with the or parallel.
Yeah.
You're looking with the plank line.
Yeah.
And I didn't get answered. Does that have any effect where it comes through, like where it's going to be in a floor, where it's going to be like by an inmate occupied spot, or is it going to screw up a storage room or be in the way of a plumbing chase or anything like that?
Well, they do have play on what they could move them. Talking to the roofing contractor as far as we'd have to get them reapproved, but he said they have a couple feet of play that won't affect the drainage on them. So they can move them to miss walls below or rooms. But
Yeah, I don't see any. As long as the roofer and the plumber is okay with it, I'm okay, because all those spaces were the piping was concealed anyway.
all right. Well, we'll work on we'll talk to Chris, and then might have to get a better workup of if they have any more concerns, and then have a quick meeting of that. But I think first we just got to confirm that those openings can be larger and then filled back in. Right?
Yeah, and I think likely what he'll say is, yeah, absolutely, they can be filled back in, but I'd like to see the detail for it and make certain that one, it's secure, and two, it's actually closed up.
Well, what's creating the security before you even put that concrete decking on top of it, right? Because if you're just to pour concrete next to another, the precast or whatever, what's securing it to that precast, right?
Yep.
Yep. So if there's a piece of angle iron in there, is there a 5-inch gap or more, right? All that's what he's going to be concerned about. But on top of the structural, obviously we want the roof to be solid. There's a unit sitting on top of it. We don't want it to fall through, but at least not while I'm still working here. Just kidding.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Danielle, I got one more question that just came up, if you got a second.
Yeah.
So I'm going through with Mike, my masonry superintendent here, and we're looking at flashing elevations for around the building.
Yep.
Now, I thought that you kind of went through and established them a little bit when they did that review to see if we had to drop that foundation wall down any. Is that correct? Did you have something that you already did on that?
As far as identifying it on the elevation, the exterior elevation.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had something in house that you guys had already did, when you guys did that review on it, just so we could compare them, or not?
No, I think the detail we revised had a dimension to hold to from grade. So, and then I know our exterior elevation showed it graphically stepping, but that was the only thing I know we did on the document.
Okay.
Yeah, what I'm seeing on the details on the architectural is 4 inches minimum from over grade, and then well, my question I got to you, would that be in the sidewalk locations and pavement locations also? Where, I mean, is that 4 inch minimum up from that also?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Danielle.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got one more
You're
quick thing,
welcome.
Daniel.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sorry. I sent you an email yesterday. The plumbers, they want to look into the possibility of putting PVC within the CMU walls, and then.
Oh yeah, I did see that email. I don't think I had a chance to send it off to.
That's
EDI.
fine. They're just concerned with putting mechanical connections in poured walls, and then I guess jarring loose.
Okay, so you did copy Sandy on that.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, let me circle back with her and just see. Yeah, typically they'll say, well, as long as it's approved by the code official, because I know each jurisdiction has their own opinions, and so there have been that. So I don't know. Did the email mention? Okay, so the inspector was there. No issue on their end. Okay, so likely not. But yeah, let me circle back with Sandy to see if is there anything I'm missing or.
Okay, and then she said she would.
Okay.
If it was approved by you guys, she would call the guy who reviewed it for the
Reviewer.
state. Yeah, she knew him.
So they all know. Okay, sounds awesome. Thanks.
She said might have to get.
Sandy just. Yeah.
She said might have to get a addendum for the state plans, but.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, paperwork.
All right, I guess that's all I had.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and
Tyler,
then I guess
Tyler, your hair looks really nice today, Tyler. Just wanted to say.
Your connection's bad, Steve. Sorry, we're going to shut it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave. Steve, do you think do you guys need anything else from Tyler or I on that project summary that Pat was working on?
At this point, no, I don't think so. I think he's getting happy.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's satisfied.
Yeah, Danielle, him and I revised our pay application because our some of our contract items numbers weren't jiving with exactly to the GMP. So I just said, you know what, I'll just clean it to match it. There's nothing in question. Got that. And then I think Pat, we're all on the same page now. Kind of what do we have? At first, once we talked about that, it was like 3 pods of money. The construction costs, the owner costs, our AE fees. I think he kind of really understood what we were doing then, so we should be good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. And then anybody moving forward, looking at it, will see, like you said, it will match.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Sounds great.
Well, the best part is he's now able to explain it well as the finance director for the county to the board if they have any kind of questions. So no matter really what comes across, he's able to say that here's our 28 million and here's where we're at. So that's the best going for us over here, at least. So it's good.
Yeah, that's excellent news. Okay. All right. Well, I did see Commissioner Kovetsky joined us.
Sorry.
So the main part got done, but we could probably have Sam do another quick run through real quick if you want, Commissioner Kovetsky.
That's okay. I apologize. I had the time wrong.
No, it's fine.
A 9:30 meeting, mind you.
Oh.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna jump off unless you guys got anything else.
Okay.
No,
I
thanks.
think that
All right,
works.
thanks, guys.
Okay.
I appreciate everybody working with Pat and that too to make sure that we got all that straight with finance. So it's just That's understandable on this end.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Good.
Commissioner Kvesky, would you like Sam to quickly just run through that though? Just sort of the pictures?
Yeah, if he wouldn't mind staying on, the rest of you don't have to stay unless you have questions. But
Yeah, I can.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. I'll
thank
stay.
you.
Yeah, no problem.
So it is, we shared, we just talked about the schedule and stuff, and a little bit of what we were talking about, Commissioner, was really with the 3-month delay initially, and then when we went back to the board, we were talking about how that pushed everything farther back. And I just had indicated how I was impressed with Markin and Johnson, how they had continued moving forward with this process, even though the Department of Labor of Industry didn't give us that permit for 3 months. Once we got the information and were able to start, how they're able to really start to juggle the balls around to get this process really going. And then even more so with the soil correction, the hardest part became that once we got the permit, the ground was already at a frost depth of about 3.3 feet, 3.5 feet. And with that, it became much more difficult. You don't just get an excavator in just to go move that soil. So they had to go through ground thaw units, break the stuff up, and then work about getting soils back into those areas that were able to get compacted at such a rate that would meet the requirements. So that meant to keep that ground actually continued to be thawed the entire time. And this is such a tight area that you can see by this picture how this foundation is taking up the lion's share of the land, that it was very difficult to even move things around, let alone starting to put in a foundation. And somehow they made this thing work. So they just kept the process going, maybe not exactly the way that they initially planned on getting it going, but either way, they kept switching up and figuring things out day to day to keep this process going. So they're probably, well, they're at about 100% soil correction. That's completed. The foundation's probably, I'm taking a guess at, because this picture is a little bit older, so they're probably now right around
This is the update.
85-90%.
Yeah.
There you go. So everything in color right here, Commissioner, is indicating what's done for the foundation. So what's
That's
not in color
fantastic.
so far.
Those are great pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, I can cycle through the rest of them too. I was just letting Steve up there. If you want to start from the beginning, this is the interior demo.
So this used to be our moderate cell block. So there used to be 6 cells in here, bars in it and everything, and they went in and demoed this stuff. So the time that they couldn't work outside because it wasn't advantageous to do it, it was too cold, they couldn't do any kind of pouring, they couldn't really do any soil correction, they changed up with their staff and they came inside to continue on some of the demolition here. So we're a little bit more advanced on the inside demolition than what was to be expected, but it had to be done. And now they're actually back to it. Here's the new CMU wall, the concrete masonry unit wall that's coming back in. The bump out part of it, that's the Sally Port area. That was part of what's the requirement for the Minnesota Department of Corrections to have that Sally Port for a secure detention, since we're utilizing them to operate our exterior doors. So what you're looking at now is the south hallway corridor for the jail, the current jail. If you notice, you're looking all the way up to the ceiling. You see all the way up to the old planking. Right up above that's the attic. There's no ductwork, lighting, or anything inside that area. All that had to be gutted for this demolition to happen, and then come back in with the concrete masonry units. So inside those concrete blocks is concrete that's been poured into it as well too. So that's a completely solid, a brand new solid wall for security. And then here's Markin and Johnson did an aerial view. So they have a drone. So that's why you get a couple of these drone pictures right here, is giving some nice bird's eye shots. So the other ones were from the north side looking south, and now you're actually from the south side looking towards the north. So you see the rental truck, that's 4th Street turning onto the interstate bridge on the left side of the picture. The LEC's off to the right with the courthouse, and then the county office building's off to the top of the picture. So the bottom part of the picture where you see all that concrete, I don't know if you can highlight it with his mouse on the southwest corner, that's where the generator is going to be. And then the next 2 parts of those concrete rooms are going to be where the water boiler HVAC system, and I already said water, I guess, where the water comes into the building, and then where the HVAC systems are going to be. And the rest of it's going to be jail. So you see that big dozer sitting in the middle, that's pretty close to about where the staff station is going to be. And then the 8 units are going to wrap around that. I don't know if you want to go over like where the garage Sally Port is, so when you're looking at stuff, where his hand is on the picture on the bottom of it, that's where the garage sally port's going to be. So that's going to be where 4 squad cars can be into it, a fire truck, an ambulance, and a squad car. Off to the right on the way in that corner, that's where the kitchen area is going to be, the kitchen and laundry. And then basically going back towards the south, that's where the 8 units is from another angle. And then there's an intake area for non-secure, which is right there. That's going to be a spot for staff break room, and then behind it there's going to be the storage, because we don't have any storage inside of the jail right now. And then in front of that's going to be a much smaller garage. It's really just an intake spot to be able to get products dropped off. So whatever the jail needs from day to day, whether it's food, like, you know, coming in for the kitchen, or supplies that's been ordered, they're going to get dropped off into that location. Yep, here's giving you another. That's good. Sam's good at this. I wish I was that good switching around on stuff. But so here's giving you the chart per se to start really seeing what we're looking at, or what you're trying to see from the outside. So right now it's hard to envision. Now that we're moving into March, the best part's going to be is what you're seeing. That's the beginning of the foundation. They've already started to build the concrete masonry unit walls up. Once this weather stays good, like it looks like next week, this thing's going to go up much quicker. So we're trying to hope to get maybe some time back in the scheduling. So right now we looked at in between the substantial completion of the jail plus the transition time of 3 months, we were looking out that there's a possibility of going out to December of next year. We're hoping to bring that back to September. Initially, I think we were looking at a turnover time of March of 2023, and then we started looking at June, July of 2023. So even if that time stays in, August, September, October, we're still looking at the possibility of September, October getting the first inmates in. But these are guesses right now, all depending on the weather and supply chains and everything else. But we're sure looking pretty good on the Market and Johnson side and Klein McCarthy side of meeting all the time, getting everything all done, slaving things together quite quickly, and turning around to get the product going, get the jail keep going. So it's been pretty impressive. I've been very impressed in how things have been going, thinking that with the weather and when we first started that we were really hitting a really big brick wall before we even started digging anything. So it's been a good run so far.
Good. Thank you for running through those. I appreciate that. That does give a good visual.
Yep.
And we'll cross our fingers on the weather, right?
Absolutely. And then the next thing, if we're going to try to come up with a much better schedule, drilling it down. Obviously it's early spring, so it's pretty hard to say for sure this is the date, but I think it's going to be a lot closer rather than month spreads. We're going to be within like a certain time frame of being pretty close to it. So I think, as Danielle said, on our next meeting next month, we should have a better recap on really where we're going to be for schedule.
Great. That's good.
Okay. Do you have any questions of any of us?
No, I don't, but thank you very much for running through that. I apologize again for being so late. I just had the time wrong.
No, it was perfect timing on your point too, because we ended up sticking around to we had some questions that we wanted to work with, and rather than getting on a phone and sort of going back and forth, we were already together on this. So Klein McCarthy and Markin and Johnson, we all stuck together to work through that. And we saw you pop in. I was like, well, let's do this one.
Good. And we'll try to get you some parking spaces.
Thanks. Well, we'll get it. I know we will. So we'll get the questions answered, and we'll just move forward.
Yeah, that was an interesting discussion. Yeah. All righty.
Yep. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you all very much.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. Bye-bye. Well, thanks, everybody.
That was awesome.
Yep. I think we're good.
Okay. All right.
Danielle, you got one more second?
Oh, yeah.
Just one more.
I'll just stay on all day.
I promise until next time I need one more. Hey, so what we'll do, Danielle, is we're going to highlight a site plan with where we think that the flashing location would go and send that over. Yep. Is that something you'd be able just to kind of look at and give us your blessing on that?
Yep. Yeah, because you're looking at just the grading plan, right? And saying
yes, we got the grading plan around there, and we'll highlight what we think should, what we're seeing
is keeping a solid line across for the flashing elevations, and then where we think maybe the steps could be.
Where you want to step.
Yeah, because I know you said, I think it was at 3 inches minimum or something. What's the maximum? Is it like 8 inches? Is it 6 inches? So that's something maybe you guys can take a peek at there. I think it's going to be flat around there. Say from the southwest corner all the way over to
it's the west elevation that you'll see it. Yeah.
I think it's going to be real close to the same elevation, and then along the bridge on that west, we know that steps quite a bit coming up through there. And then I think on the front it might be fairly flat again as well. But just so we don't miss something, and that way you're not surprised when you come out and look at it and say, "Well, why'd you put it there?"
Yep. And did you look at the exterior elevation where we had graphically shown it stepping? It was A4 point. Was it 1 or 2?
I think we have been using that one as well. A4.1. Yeah, so there was a dashed line indicating where we were proposing it steps. And so is there a max? Not really. I think that's I think we were just assuming it appeared to be more like 8, across the board. Okay.
But I'll definitely take a look.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Any more questions? We're charging you back.
Yeah, Heidi's like,
Heidi's on overtime now.
I only have an hour.
Well, it just billed to you, Steve. So.
Oh, we'll get it back. We're the government. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Heidi, for staying on. Thanks.